Welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to the Monster Kingdoms. Now, you'll know I've been speaking about Monster Kingdoms a fair amount on this channel lately. It's because I'm very excited. You see, Monster Kingdoms is coming up to go on back a kit for crowdfunding in the next couple of weeks, and I would absolutely love it. I would appreciate it, dear viewers and listeners, if you could click that link in the video description below before we go any further, so you can get notified when that campaign goes live. I'd love to see that number rocket up before the campaign starts. The more people we notify that the campaign is ongoing, the quicker it will fund, the more stretch goals we'll unlock, the more Earthbane games we can create. Now, if you have missed all of my discussion regarding Monster Kingdoms, I'll tell you now. Monster Kingdoms is a game where evil has won. Good has been pushed to the margins. Light is subdued, if not extinguished. Darkness reigns. Has done for hundreds of years, ever since the Nythera Empire overthrew the last regime. But the problem is the Empire, equivalent to a Roman Empire or Napoleonic France, is fracturing at the edges. It's now split between three emperors who have agreed to work together, but it's a dubious, a shaky kind of agreement. And during all this tumult, the 13 monster kingdoms that surround the Nythera Empire are seeing it as their chance to hold the thrones of power. Some have alliances, some work independently, others, frankly, just want doom for everyone. But it's a time of chaos. Chaos just over the border. It's just on the horizon. And this is where your characters step in. You see, in Monster Kingdoms, and I've been asked this question, hence the video, you play as monsters. Simple as that. You play as figures of evil. Sure, you could play a redemptive story. You could play a heroic story, but that's not the default mode of play. In Monster Kingdoms, you are playing monsters. Whether you are mercenaries working together for the highest bidder, maybe you are monster hunters trying to claim the biggest trophies, seize the most powerful crowns, magical artifacts you can use for grossly destructive powers. Maybe you are beholden to one of the kingdoms and trying to further the conquest of another. Maybe you're trying to build a dungeon and attract heroes to it. So you're trying to ensnare monsters, fix up traps, and so on. Find the ideal location for your dungeon. Maybe you are raiding dungeons for the treasures within, whether they are ancient or indeed contemporary to you in the monster kingdoms of the era. Perhaps, here's another thing, you're explorers. You see, there's great tracts of wilderness in the monster kingdoms, and they still need exploring, they still need mapping, because if you are the first to discover a place, you may even be able to lay claim to it. Maybe your ultimate game is to put a crown on your head and become a king or queen of one of the monster kingdoms, maybe even all of it. These are just some of the things you can do in the monster kingdom, some of the ambitions you can set your characters up with. And when you're playing your monsters, whether they are humans, elves, dwarves, feyborn, fiends, forlorn, elementals, vampires, wraiths, shapeshifters, orcs, goblinoids, I've probably missed some. These are just the heritages you can play. Yes, they have been taken from a fantasy mold, but every single one of those heritages is subdivided. You have lots and lots of houses of these heritages that will direct forms of play. So to take the Feyborn, for example, you've got Dream Feyborn, Nightmare Feyborn, the Feyborn of House Tallowcatch, the Feyborn of House Wandout, the Lost Children. Every single one of these heritages has different categories, and each of these categories tailor your style of play. What's more, when you create your character, you choose a kingdom that they come from. Now, you may deeply love, you may have loyalty toward your kingdom, or you may absolutely resent it. Your kingdom helps define the skills you start off with, much as your house will define the attributes you start off with, along with an infamy trait. As your infamy increases in the game to a maximum of 5, you will gain a stacking enhancement to a certain kind of action associated with your house. Your heritage itself will help define your momentum generator, which, if you've played The World Below, you'll already be familiar with. Momentum is a currency used in StoryPath Ultra games that allows you to add enhancements to rolls, allows you to define elements of the story, that kind of thing. And to continue with our Feyborn, momentum generators suggested are trick someone, frighten someone, discover someone's secret. You do those things, congratulations, you've gained a momentum for the group. You also, as part of this kingdom path, have a doctrine that your character cleaves to, a faith or a philosophy. And there are many contests of faith within the monster kingdoms when the game is set. While the all faith is most certainly dominant, the catechistrix that emerges from the kingdom of Zin, a kind of self-flagellating, sadomasochistic faith of penitent guilt and spreading that guilt to others, is most certainly on the rise. Even the religions in this game are pretty bloody awful. Not to say they're bad to play, but the point is you construct your kingdom path out of kingdom, heritage, house, and doctrine. Again, if you know the world below, you will know this as, let's see if I can remember, your ancestry, your settlement or community, your dogma, and your guild. And they roughly conform, except in Monster Kingdoms, which is a more, I would suggest, powerful game than the world below, which focuses more on survival, your house, giving you this innate infamy ability, is basically going to make you considerably more powerful than your equivalent in the world below. Now from there, you go on to build your mantle. And a mantle is equivalent to a class or a calling or a clan. You have cultists, you have executioners, you've got gauntlets, those are your warrior types. You have goldsmen. Your goldsmen are your thieves, your rogues, and merchants too. Harlequins, magi, marauders, mentalists, root winders. All of these mantles qualify you not only for various abilities in the game, but also to wield specific scepters in the game. Now, scepters are magical weapons, and they are weapons you name. Think like Stormbringer, as an example. They may even have some sentience about them, and they will have specific powers, perhaps defined by you, but linked to the mantle that you choose. So the mantle you choose is very important indeed. And finally, the third path that you create is your dusk. So you might be familiar that in the world below you have a dawn. That's your initial path in the world below. Dusk is the ultimate path in Monster Kingdoms. This is where you believe the world is headed, and it defines your access to crowns. Crowns, as I mentioned, are grossly destructive magical powers that you have to seize from creatures you defeat, most likely slaughter, maybe outwit, but you have to claim a crown from them, and that crown gets moulded by your dusk. And your dusk could be acquisition. You want to make yourself the richest monster in the land. It could be darkness. You want to spread insidious hate among the people of the world. Doom, you will not be happy until people are dying en masse if they are not serving you. Faith, you want everybody to cleave to the faith that you hold important, or maybe even see you as a god. Imperialism, you want everyone in your service, in your grip. Light, we'll skirt over that. Opposition, war is the natural state of the people of Monster Kingdoms, and you will not be content until everybody is clashing. You will never be able to tell the true worth of someone until they have drawn blood on the battlefield. These are the kinds of characters you play in Monster Kingdoms. So when asked, what do you play in Monster Kingdoms? You're playing some evil bastards. You are playing monsters. I have described it previously as playing the Sabbat in a fantasy setting. And I think that is a fair comparison to make, because these are characters that are going to have very few compunctions about doing some pretty vile shit in order to get exactly what they want. That's what Monster Kingdom is about. You will be committing disembowelments, you will be burning down villages, you will be stealing from the royal treasury, you will be slaying creatures and stealing their crowns, you will be doing a lot of horrendous stuff as part of a squad of like-minded monsters who all pursue these aims together. So that's what you play in Monster Kingdoms. Very soon I hope to do a character creation stream. I would love to hear from you in the comments below the kind of character you'd like to see me create. But none of you ask for some heroic bullshit. You can create heroes with this system. I did mention you can follow the Dusk of Light. But let's go for something slightly more villainous, I think. Maybe you want a vampire from the kingdom of Krior, or maybe a dragonkin from the kingdom of Scales. Maybe you'd like a flagellant from the kingdom of Zin, or an elementor from the kingdom of Brandieu. There are a lot of kingdoms, and there's a lot of characters you can create. And what's more, the game contains a lot of setting information you can choose to use to really give those characters a flavor that is unique to them. Thank you very much for watching. If Monster Kingdoms appeals to you, please click the link in the video description below and sign up for when the campaign goes live on Backakit. Until next time.